What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new series of episode reviews. This is for Nier Automata version 1.1, and with me, as always, I have Lisped.
Mhm. So when I first heard about this, I was a little pleasantly surprised that they're gonna be adapting this, but I was also a little bit confused, like in how they were gonna be adapting this and what parts of the story they might adapt. Because as we know, that there's multiple endings in this game, and it's executed in different ways. That it's hard. It's I don't know, like how they're gonna execute like those kind of just those different endings into a show like this.
Yeah, it. I mean, it sounds like they are kind of mixing in elements from some of the other routes because people were saying that this kind of has some stuff from I think it was Route B, uh, put in there. Um, I have played the game. I've played a little bit of the game, so I do remember that it doesn't exactly start the same as the anime does. Um, like this, it kind of seems like the anime starts with a scene that happens, I guess, later on in the game, and kind of starts that way. Um,
Yes, it starts off with like some scene like much later in which 2B is cradling 9S's supposedly dead body, and
mm,
she talks to herself thinking like how long that she has to go through this over and over and over again, um watching 9S die over and over again. So it kind of transition it transitions us back uh to where the episode is, which features like it's pretty much this entire episode adapts the entire prologue section of the game.
yeah, um, yeah, it's pretty much the whole like I guess yeah the prologue or tutorial section. Um, uh, but yeah, I mean, I I thought it looks like in terms I guess of visuals like it looks okay. You can tell that they use CG at times for the mechs, um, and it's not really good CG. Um, it is a little bit off putting. But other than that, it looked fine. But the CG, I think, like I said, I think the CG is just a little bit distracting because of it definitely does not look that good.
Yeah,
Especially with some scenes where you see it up close.
yeah. I mean, you can tell that. I can pretty much tell they kind of ripped those models out from the game itself, based on like
Uh,
how they look. And at times when I see like the 2B's model in that mech, it's she kind of looks like her game model. If
it
you
probably
look,
is.
yeah, if you look carefully, you could tell like it's like the CG version of her is obviously her game model that they kind of ripped out of.
Yeah.
But overall, like the scenes that weren't CG, like particularly like the fight scenes, like look pretty decent.
Mhm. Uh, yeah, basically, like, the premise of this episode is I mean, you don't really know what's going on. Like, if you haven't played Nier Automata, or if you don't know anything about Nier, how do you feel like a newcomer is going to feel about, like, if they just watch this anime and they don't really have any previous experience with the series? Because it doesn't really tell you anything. It's just, I mean, the game's kind of like that too, to be fair. You're just kind of thrown into it. You're fighting these robots. You don't really know why. You're an android working for this organization, the Yorha organization that is at war with these robots for whatever reason, or I guess for the preservation of mankind or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Uh,
I so I mean most of the episode is just that both 2B and 9S going after this gargantuan machine called the Goliath, and
yeah,
eventually they end up fighting the Goliath, but in the process 9S gets uh gets injured from the attack. I guess like in a way he gets fatally injured in a way. So like he loses uh like his arm and a leg in the process. So this leaves to 2B going after the Goliath herself, and then finally destroying it with the help of her mech. But unfortunately for them, they run into three more Goliaths, and realizing that there's no chance of either fighting them or escaping them, 2B and 9S decide to self-destruct by using their black boxes.
yeah, and And then of course they well yeah, as far as we know, the black box is something that androids use if they it's pretty much the suicide option. Like if they have no other, if they're about to die in a mission or something, they use a black box. The black box will just like destroy them and I guess like wipe their data. um and
Yeah,
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 we see
but
them
oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, fortunately for 2B, she has her memories transferred over in time.
Yeah.
Before the explosion. However, like once she runs it in 9S, she finds out to her dismay that 9S's memories weren't transferred in time, and his he only remembers going back prior to them rendezvousing with each other. You know, during the mission.
Yeah. um that's kind of how the episode ends. Like they're good, they're back on this like this platform in space. And yeah, there's that interaction with 2B and 9S. 9S doesn't remember anything. um and that's kind of how the first episode ends. It's pretty much like, yeah, it's pretty much the entirety of this is the prologue, which I think was a good idea. I mean, if you're doing the first episode, it's probably like, good to just adapt all of that. um but I am kind of wondering how they're going to handle the rest of the the rest of the plot of the game.
Uh,
um
I think it has something to do with that weird post credit
Oh,
puppet
well, yeah.
show
So,
thing.
yeah. I guess that's how they're handling the joke endings. Is they're gonna have these like, yeah, that like puppet show at the end or something. But I think the first joke ending in the game actually is if you die during the prologue. So I don't know. I guess they're not doing that one, but yeah, like there's multiple joke endings in the game, so I guess that might be how they're handling it. Um, and I thought that was an interesting way of handling it. I like
Uh,
the puppet thing.
I mean, they said that they were gonna explain, about the multiple endings, but they didn't really do it in this one. All they did was just introducing us
Yeah.
with the different Yorha models, like BSO or whatever, how many models there are, and then it just ends with 2B combining her black box with 9S is destroying well, pretty much in a way impromptu destroying the bunker.
Yeah.
In a way. So, and what's also weird that there was no credits at the end. Oh, actually, there was. It just fast forwarded the credits, and it just
Yeah, that's
ends with
kind of
a
what
to be
happens in some of
continued.
the joke endings where they just kind of fast forward the credits. Just, so it is kind of similar to the game in that way. Um, Also, like, how do you feel about the opening? Like, I like the song. I like that Amber's doing it. That's cool. Like, and I think they got the same artist that did one of the songs from the games too to, I guess, do the ending. But we
Yeah.
haven't gotten that yet. I'll be honest. I was kind of underwhelmed visually by the opening. I felt like there was a lot of different things they could have done. I felt like what they went with, I didn't much care for. It's just the characters kind of like projected on walls. I don't know. I felt like it was kind of boring. I felt like there was a lot of other things they could have done, but I don't know why they decided to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was okay, but yeah, I like I said, I like the song. Visually, I feel like the opening could have been a lot better, I guess. But it's not bad, so I don't know. What did you think of it?
I mean, it was like you said. I did like the song as well. It's just it's a unique design choice for them to show off like the characters, including times when they were fighting projected off walls for some
Mhm.
whatever reason. I don't know what had anything to do with the overall post-apocalyptic setting that
Yeah.
the show is aimed at. So it's a little bit weird that they decided to go that route. But I mean, but the end of that song, they showed off the foreshadowing between 2B and 9S in that
Yeah,
opening.
somebody did mention that there was something there was kind of like, I guess, a spoiler that I guess people who played the game might have picked up on from, I guess, one of the other routes in the opening, which I'm not sure, but uh that's kind of interesting. There's like some hidden details, I guess. Um but yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I thought it's an okay start. I feel like it's people who are newcomers to the series. It's going to be a bit difficult, I think, if they just watch this episode for them to get like hooked on what's going on with the plot, because it's something that and it's kind of the case in the game too, is it doesn't really it feels like the plot doesn't really like start to get really interesting until a little bit later. So I feel like people might have to have some patience if they're just like, if they're not familiar with the series and they're just like watching it through the anime. It might take a while for things to just really get, to kind of hook people. But yeah, I really don't really have too much else to say about the episode though. I
Yeah.
don't know if you have anything
Yeah,
else to.
so the show is confirmed for 24 episodes, so I can
Yeah.
assume that they're gonna be adapting the entire game. But
Mhm.
in a way like that they're gonna try to, I guess, uh, merge the plot with all the other routes in a more streamlined way. And
Yeah, it's really gonna depend on the execution as to how they do that, and I mean, because it could potentially be a complete mess if they handle it incorrectly,
yeah,
if they're like doing, implementing elements from the other routes.
there's also the fact that they introduced like a brand new anime original character for the show. If you haven't seen the trailers, this is like one character named Lily who works with the Resistance. So
Mhm.
what her role is not known at this time, but it's probably something to do with like them trying to, I guess, rearrange the plot for the game. I don't know if like how big of a role she is, but with all
Yeah,
the previous have revealed that all the other characters from the game are gonna be in there, like Pascal, Adam and Eve, uh, the red hair twins as well are also gonna be there too. So
Devil and Popola.
yeah, those two. Um, so yeah, I mean, my opinions on this first episode was, well, I mean, I kind of expected this because like obviously they were gonna adapt the prologue sequence. So it's like I didn't really expect much out from the first episode. I mean, it still looked good
Mhm.
overall. I mean, other than like the CG mech sequences, I mean that could have been done a little bit better, but overall, it wasn't that bad of a first episode. Uh,
Yeah,
they showed it off. I mean, the overall, it's almost like a shot for shot remake of the prologue based on like the entire camera angles. There was one video that I shared with you a few days ago, which compared like uh, almost like scene for scene between the anime and the game itself.
yeah, I saw that. Um, yeah, but yeah, I guess that all being said, guys, till next time, we will see you all later.